Clausewitz. If we critique Clausewitz, we note that for one thing, he tended to overemphasize or overplay the idea of decisive battle, tended to underplay strategic maneuver. And you can understand why, particularly at the time period. Remember, he actually, in a sense, was reacting against that 18th century warfare where they tried to do all these elegant maneuvers and they made no decisions. So it's somewhat of an overreaction. The other thing, Clausewitz emphasized method routine at the tactical level. As a matter of fact, he had a chapter on method routine. And he wanted to tackle them in his own words to reduce his own internal friction. In his own words. Why? Clausewitz was very much concerned with trying to overcome or reduce friction uncertainty. Unfortunately, he didn't turn the argument around. He failed to address the idea, why not try to magnify your adversary's friction uncertainty? It's not that the former is wrong, you want to look at it both ways. Remember, if you reduce your own, and you're not looking at his, you may also help your adversary too, relative to you. You got to look at it both ways all the time. Clausewitz was also concerned with trying to exhaust his adversary by influencing him to increase expenditure. Once again, he didn't turn that argument around. He failed to address the idea, why not try to paralyze your adversary by denying him even the opportunity to expend any of it? Now we see a difference between he and Sun Tzu. Clausewitz, in a sense, was trying to keep himself from being driven bananas. Sun Tzu was trying to drive his adversary bananas. Or using Clausewitz's term, Clausewitz was trying to reduce his own friction uncertainty, whereas Sun Tzu was concentrating on trying to magnify his adversary's friction uncertainty. As a matter of fact, you read Sun Tzu, he's doing both. He's worrying about his own plus his adversary. And it's richer in that sense. I mean, he didn't use the word friction, but the idea is there. Friction is Clausewitz's word. And then Clausewitz made an incorrect statement. Quote, the center of gravity is always found where the mass is concentrated most densely. That's not always true. The center of gravity in a donut is in the hole. There is no mass. Or in a hollow steel ball, it's where the steel isn't. Or in a dumbbell, it's in the connection between the two masses. They come up with all kinds of counterexamples. And somebody said, wait a minute here, that might be a cheap shot. He might not appeal to that definition. That's strict. That's correct. But let's look and see how he did appeal. And then he argued that is where the place, then he failed. Then he argued that's where the blow should be aimed, where the decision should be reached, at center of gravity. But then he gave three examples of centers of gravity. The Army, the capital, and public opinion. He followed up the Army and the capital, didn't follow up in public opinion. That was a mistake. Because public opinion depends upon what? The connection of one against the other. That's the thing you people deal in. And if you disrupt those connections, you can generate many non-cooperative centers of gravity. And that's my point. He failed to develop the idea of generating many non-cooperative centers of gravity by striking at those connections that permit a larger center of gravity to exist. He didn't follow up. So it raised a rather interesting question. What does all this mean? I made this big argument. Where in the hell am I going? So let's invert the argument. Once again, very often you get insight from the invert. So once again, let's invert the argument. So let's assume that we can generate many non-cooperative centers of gravity in our adversary system. If we can do that, then we deprive him of the opportunity to expend effort. That's the same thing as paralysis. If we paralyze him, we impede vigorous operations. That's the definition of friction. We magnify friction. So if we can generate many non-cooperative centers of gravity in his system, we deprive him the opportunity to operate in a directed way, which paralyzes, which impedes vigorous activity, which defines friction, magnifies friction. That's the issue. So he didn't draw a real good connection between friction and centers of gravity.
Today's day and age,